kick off, set it off, go to Vegas, bet it all, put it on the Bucs to win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all, loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start, Bucs come in 40 hard, win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats, Falcons got bird flu, take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing's for sure, better than the Bucs, they show lane. And every day in Tampa Bay, we say fuck the Saints. We in Tampa Bay, baby. 813 going crazy. Tampa, boy. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters. And we in Tampa Bay, baby. Tell them where you from. 813 going crazy. Yeah. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters. Now when I say the loose cannons, boy, do you know what I mean? I'm talking Bobby Latte, Stank Bastard, and Samurai Lee. You ain't never seen no her before, no podcast like this. These boys entertain you, then take you on road trips. Go to...
What is up, Bucs Nation? It is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. It is Super Bowl week, and you are watching the Loose Cannons podcast. I am your host, the Samurai Ali, hanging out with my intern, as always, the pale one, the ghosted one, the transparent piece of paper, tracing paper boy, Stank Bastard, smoking on what appears to be a twig from his backyard. He may be one of those Native American tree-hugging guys. Stanker. Welcome to Super Bowl week. A little bit of a dead zone for most NFL teams, but not for the Bucs in a possible trade scenario, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, man. No, it's been a crazy offseason already for us. You know, if you've been watching the show lately, people have even memed on us. We went from happy to sad to angry to now feeling a lot better about ourselves after, you know, we got to meet our new guy today. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Before we dive into the wonder kid known as Josh Grizzard, okay, or Grizz as they know him in the building, let's talk about a potential Stank, a guy that I think we all love. Myles Garrett, a couple of days ago, comes out, says, I officially request a trade. I want to leave Cleveland. Whatever, you know, it doesn't seem like it's a bad blood scenario, but he wants to win a championship. Enough is enough. Dude is an absolute stud, okay? And somehow, earlier today, rumors came around, starting swirling. Now he's got a list of teams that he'd be okay going to, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of those teams. Stank. Myles Garrett, a Tampa Bay Buck, playing with Todd Bowles, playing with Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea, all the guys that could possibly learn from him. Yaya Diaby. I mean, get your notepad out, kid, if this kid comes to town, because you have a ton to learn, and I think Myles Garrett will be able to teach him. Stank, is it possible? Do you want it to happen?
It's fucking possible, bro.
Hell
You know, do you know who's sitting in that building right now? Or sitting on the beach in Puerto Rico right now that has the ability to sign any free agent ever? Like, has anybody done a better job at signing free agents than Jason Light?
No.
So that should answer your question right there. You don't think the Glazers would open up the checkbook to bring in a difference maker? They know what difference makers looks like. Doesn't mean that, you know, we're going to be willing to give up all the draft capital and everything else that Cleveland is going to be demanding. But the fact that we're on his short list means something, because Cleveland can't just trade him to anybody. It's got to be a team he wants to go to on top of it. And we're not going to be able to draft anybody that's comes even close to his caliber. Not to mention, you know, we've already got the right locker room for that guy. It makes perfect sense, which is why I said, fuck Max Crosby, I don't know, a month ago, and said, sign Myles Garrett. And people said, oh, Stank crazy, never going to happen. Max and this. Nah, bro. This guy is special. He's the best pass rusher, maybe outside of Micah in the league. He's just an animal, and I want him here. I really want that guy here.
He is the best edge rusher. He's the most dominant. He's the most consistent. He has had double-digit sacks every single year he's been in the NFL, other than his rookie year. which you can
and
say
he played 10 games.
Yeah, he was a rookie. Okay, he plays every single week. This past year, he was in the Defensive Player of the Year named list. He had 14 sacks. I mean, I'll pull up the stats right here for this guy. I mean, 14 sacks, 22 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, 40 tackles. And then over his career, Stank, these numbers are insane. 102.5 sacks, 116 of his 250 tackles were tackles for loss. That's almost 50% of the time when he's making a tackle is for negative yardage. That's insane. And 20 forced fumbles. But here's the biggest thing. His Spotrac 25 market value as a free agent for a new deal would be $34.3 million per year, which would make him, I believe, the highest paid defensive player / non-quarterback. So Stank, with him available, here's the thing. People are all screaming, I'd give up 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, send Rashad White, Jamel Dean, KJ Britt, all cut the nonsense, okay? First, one guy goes out there and tells, I think it's Josina Anderson, he tells her, listen, there's going to be a lot of idiots who say that you need 3 first-round picks for this guy. He thinks it's, and this is an anonymous GM, by the way, in the NFL, says, could be a first and a second, maybe a first, a second, a third, and a player, something in that range. He doesn't necessarily believe that it's a 2 first scenario. So, if you're Jason Light, Stank, first of all, you got to think about it. What did you give up for him? And then also, are you willing to pay and to give him a new contract, make him the highest paid defensive player, $34.3 million a year? He is 29 years old. He won't be turning 30 until late December. Okay, so you still got this kid pretty young, in my opinion. A stud, not even a kid, a absolute dog. Are you willing to pay him the $34.3 million? And
yes.
What are you giving up to make him? What are you giving up to make him a buck?
Yes.
But what are you giving up? What do you think is fair for a team that doesn't have that many picks right now?
Jamel Dean, bro. All right.
Straight up NBA trade?
PFF has him ranked at, my boy Breeze overrated. He eloquently tweeted, PFF has him ranked as one of the top 15 corners in the NFL. So you trade an asset, just an absolute star cornerback in Jamel Dean. Heads up. Maybe you toss in a 1. I don't know. But that seems like a fair trade to me. Right? One of the best corners in the league, top 15 guy, Jamel Dean, Super Bowl champion, right?
That's true.
He used to row boat for us and everything. Like, that guy is a star. And he would do, I can't even talk. He would do so well in Cleveland. Look at all the former Bucs that do well in Cleveland. Jameis, it just completely makes sense. But really, realistically, you're giving up a 1 for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's 2 1s. I feel like it's a 1 and maybe a 2 and maybe some assets and some money. I feel like realistically, when it comes down to it, right before the draft, when everybody's jockeying for trades and position, we haven't seen a two first round guys since Deshaun Watson, right? He's the last guy that.
Well, I think the guys that they would be compared to would be Khalil Mack, I think, and Von Miller. I think those guys fetched more than 1. I think one of them got 3 first-round picks. I think it was Khalil Mack when the Bears got him. But I'm with you, man. I don't think you need 2 first-round picks. I think that's nonsense. I don't think I don't think the Browns have much of a leg to stand on 1.
The Bears don't either, by the way.
Neither do the Bears. But I think it's one of those things where the rest of the league is like, we're not going to give you 2 or 3 first-round picks for this guy.
But Sammer, you got to cut the league in half. They're not trading him to an AFC team.
Correct. I would say
that's if we've seen anything, like, the New York Giants will forever be a cautionary tale. You don't trade a guy in division, especially division rival.
It never happens. And then they did that. You're like, why'd they break the rule? I agree with you. It's not going to the AFC team. So
specifically off of that, it's not happening. So you got half the teams in the NFC, and only a handful of teams are competitive enough because he wants to go a team that could potentially win a Super Bowl. And so you got other teams out there. I don't see teams like Detroit throwing that much draft capital at him. San Francisco, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what these other teams have in regards to cap issues. I don't necessarily love San Francisco's quarterback. He probably doesn't either. He's played with Baker. People are like, oh, they have a bad relationship. Bitch, we're on the list. Okay. That tells you something right there. Yeah. We're on the list. They see a mature Baker. He sees this veteran team that has a roster that has guys that have been there before, and no state income tax. State income tax, bro. There hasn't
been a defensive player that's looked at Todd Bowles' scheme and said, I don't want to play in that. It's I mean, JPP, Shaq Barrett, all these guys came back time and time again. Sue, excited about coming back to playing it. Obviously, the guys who have been on the team with like Levante and all these other guys, but I'm down giving this guy a first round pick. Give him this year's first round pick. I'll give him next year's second round pick, maybe a fourth, a conditional fifth, something like that. I don't think the Bucs are in a position with the cap hit to trade a Jamel Dean. I don't see them getting rid of Rachaad White, considering he's the only guy on the entire roster who could pick up a blitz out of the backfield. Kokeef, big Kokeef fans, okay? Kokeef podcast. Guy can't pick up a blitz, okay? Sorry, love Bucky. Guy can't pick up a blitzer. He's just not. It's not even that he can't do it because of his will to do it. He's just not big enough to do it. So, and then you got Tucker, who didn't do it, and that's why he didn't get to play. So I don't see that scenario going down. All the people are like, oh, they're going to trade KJ Britt. Throw that in there. Why would anyone want our trash? That's not how things work. This isn't Madden. Throw in Trey Palmer. I don't see us making our wide receiver depth worse, even though I'm not a big Trey Palmer guy after last season's play, but he's still a guy you keep in the building because you drafted him. He's pennies on the fucking dollar at this point. You see what happens. And when you move on, you move on. I don't think that's happening this season. So I'm prepared to give him that first, a second, and maybe a fourth next year. Second and fourth next year. The Bucs don't have enough stuff this year to give all that up this year. That's the thing. They only have like 6 picks.
No, you want to spread the pain over a couple of years, right? You don't want to do it all at once and give up a draft class like fucking they did for Ricky Williams in the shittiest city with the shittiest team in the country that New Orleans did, back in the day. Earlier, by the way, our buddy, our friend, a family member, honestly, Joel Rican, 16-month member.
Wow.
Congratulations. Are you a member? I'm talking to you. Yeah, you. Are you a member? Because if you're not, really, like, why not? Why not? It's only like, I don't even know how much it is. Whatever it is, less than the coffee you bought this morning. Okay. Your kids don't need new shoes. Your kids, like, just give us your money. Become a member. Become a family member. Come on in. Come on into the fold.
I'm going to address this comment, which I rarely do, but Narab says, Light loves his picks. He's not going to give them up easy. Listen, Light does love his picks because Jason Light has had to build this team. But when Jason sees that there's an opportunity to go get a guy, JPP's a prime example, okay? He went and he made it happen. He saw the guy he wanted. Obviously, it's not the same caliber deal. It's not the same kind of trade, but when Jason sees there's an opportunity to go get something and he feels that window for this team is there, Myles Garrett is like, as bad as the defense was, Stank, are we not one dominant pass rusher from fixing a lot of those issues? Your corners look a lot better when you got a guy who's flying in off the edge without having to blitz, and he can get there with under 2 seconds. Your linebackers look a lot better. You don't have to blitz every single down to try to generate pressure. You can actually play your actual defense. And then when you mix it in, it's exotic, it's wild, and it is more effective because it's not every single down to where a team is constantly prepared for it. Myles Garrett makes everything on this defense a lot smoother, and then you add pieces in the draft, and that doesn't mean you can't go to free agency. And I guarantee you, if Jason has an absolute MO, it's he adds something to free agency / trade, he still adds that same piece in the draft. So it doesn't mean we won't get an edge rusher in the second round, possibly. Who knows how things play out? If I get Myles Garrett and I somehow keep my second round pick this year and I end up getting Jihad Campbell from the Alabama Crimson Tide as my linebacker, man, I am fucking absolutely stoked. The end of the draft right there, I'm good to go. This whole talk that Light won't give up draft picks, it's a situational thing. He's done his job. He's done his part. He's built it through the draft. When it's time to give up, you can't say no to a Myles Garrett if it's a first, a second, or as Ples says, maybe just 2 firsts. Not too keen on giving up 2 firsts, but hey, if we're finishing 29, 30, 31, 32, maybe it doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah, but Sammer, 2 firsts is really 1 first because you're getting Myles Garrett and then you're just giving up another first. So you're replacing one pick with a human, and the other one is, you're paying, and you should, for a guy like that who is a game changer, potential Hall of Fame, already has 102 sacks. This guy is special. He's proven it. He knows it all. He's going to fit in pretty much every system. 3-4, 4-3. Todd Bowles' crazy shenanigans. Don't think he's going to be dropping back in coverage very much. And
he won't need to, Stank. He won't need to because you don't need to be exotic as much when you have a guy like that.
And he's never had an interior combination next to him like Cansey and Vita Vea. That's a big fucking problem.
Huge. Who do you double team?
You can get there with 4. You might be able to get there with 3.
3.
Right? If Yaya ends up playing and continuing to climb that hill, stay healthy, the kid's got power moves. He just needs to add some more. And having a guy like fucking Myles in the building is going to teach him a whole lot. It's so much fun to fantasize about. And this is one of those positions that you just can't typically buy. You can't typically get a guy like this. Cleveland still has to, want to play ball at some point, unless they want to get into a holdout scenario. Listen, they've got to recoup something from the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco, and draft picks would make their fan base feel a whole lot better. Yes, it would hurt to lose a guy like Myles, who's the face of the team,
but they're going to have to rebuild.
But they're going to have to rebuild. They have to rebuild.
So the way to do it is to get as many picks for these guys. If he doesn't want to be here through that rebuild, why not? I think they're playing hard to get because they want to drive his number up, knowing that they don't have much of a leg to stand on. But that's a good point you make. Like, I've always been that guy that says, if you look at the spot you're in the draft, if you tell me that first round pick is going to be a Myles Garrett guy, then all right, cool, don't trade it. We're at 19. I'm 110% certain you are not going to get the next Myles Garrett at that pick. Let's say we pick at 19 again next year. I am 120% sure you are not going to pick Myles Garrett at that spot either. So you know what? You give up one pick to get a guy that you absolutely know. By the way, he was a first overall pick, okay? First overall pick when he was in the draft. You're giving up a 19 and maybe another 19, 20, whatever it is next year for 2 first rounders. I agree. Like, I'm in. I like, that's not a great deal, but I would absolutely be happy with it because, like you said, man, you're not going to find a Myles Garrett in the draft in that spot. If you're top 5 and say, hey, fuck it, no, you got a Mike Green, you got all these guys that you could possibly, yeah, it makes sense. But hey, Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett, dude. Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett.
He is a
Wait, it's a great deal. What I'm saying is a tougher pill to swallow, but not really. Go ahead.
He can immediately turn average to below average defense into a top 5, top 10. Like, he's that much of a game changer. And we still have pieces. We got, the rotation on that defensive line. As I've already said, we've got at least one good starting corner. A guy like Levante is coming back. You got Savassi, hopefully he can stay healthy and maybe he's something. You got one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in the league. You can still add other guys through free agency. You'll still be left with some, draft capital, which you can still draft some young guys at different positions. It's not like you're giving up the farm for this guy. You can still build, and we do need to rebuild this defense in many ways. Look at our track record with drafting defensive ends. We could sit and stay and draft a defensive end at 19, and he might be JTS. You don't know. So yes, it's easy to fall in love with these draft picks and say, not a first round draft pick. No, fuck that, bro. That's Myles Garrett. Go get that motherfucker, bro. Go get that guy. You do that shit. It's like adding Shaq to the offense. It's a different situation when you got a special guy like that. So I don't think it's that far-fetched, especially if he does have a short list, which matters, that we're easily in the mix. And please just continue to doubt Jason Light, bro. That guy can make shit happen. Greeny, we got Greenberg back in the building. Greeny's really the one that makes these deals happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm not worried about the salary. Awesome. I think he's definitely worth it. I'm not worried about how the Bucs are going to make it happen. And yes, for those people who are wondering, if we get him, we got to pay him. Can we still pay Chris Godwin? Yeah, they can pay both of them. Don't worry about it. They got tons of moves that they can still make and reconstruct different contracts and make even more space available and money available. Not a problem. But yes, even if you're in the top 5 for the next 3 years picking, there's nothing that says anyone coming up is going to be Myles fucking Garrett. And I'm of the belief of, I kind of look at the NFL draft at times like the NBA draft. You know what you have in a proven guy like him. Mm-hmm. The draft is still an unknown, no matter what. Like, how many of these top defensive ends that we've seen or edge rushers have gone to the Jaguars, have gone to all these other teams, and what have they done? Nothing. They're not even in the league at this point. That happens. Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to be Myles Garrett. He wasn't. He had an okay career, nowhere near what Myles Garrett has had. So when you see that guy, he's available. These guys don't become available. When they do, it's like, holy shit, money growing on fucking trees. You got to go get it. You got to fucking grab them, make it happen. 2 first rounders, tough pill to swallow, but hey, man, if you're picking in that 20 plus range, who cares? Who cares, man? And you know what, Stank? You can draft a corner in the second round. You can draft a linebacker in the second round. These guys aren't really coming in first year anyway. A corner that comes in the first year and has impact day one, very, very fucking rare. Very rare. Sauce Gardner, maybe one of those guys. Darrelle Revis, one of those guys. Maybe the kid in Denver, but I think he took him even to 2 to 3 years for most corners to really develop. So you don't need a first-round guy. And the top corners across the NFL, they're not always first-round picks. So you know what? You give up the first round, 19 and whatever next year is. I think Plus said it would be number 32. Love that. 19 and 32 for Myles Garrett, who, by the way, is one phone call away from Baker, just, hey, what's up? What's up, Myles? Remember me? Yeah, man, it must suck you're still up there. Yeah, man, I know. Yeah, hey, listen, these guys down here, fucking amazing. Check it out. Also, I pay no fucking taxes on this money they just gave me, but man, it is amazing down here. Let me tell you something else, Myles. It doesn't fucking snow. Immediately right there, Myles is going to hang up. He's coming right back down to Florida, baby. He's a Buck. Like, that's just... There's no way he's not recruiting. You think Baker hasn't texted him?
The city sells itself, bro. He lives in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
You can't really get worse than that. Okay?
Who's ever said they want to go to Cleveland?
Outside of Jacksonville and New Orleans, Cleveland is one of the saddest cities on the earth, not even in this country. It's one of the saddest places to be. And then you come down to beautiful, sunny Florida, and your family and your wife and your kids, and no state income tax, and you already got guys in the locker room that want you here. You're familiar with the guy who leads this team. It all makes a lot of sense. It does. There's some level of uncertainty in every situation. You're going to have to pay the price. And you said it best. Young corners, it's a gamble. Young defensive ends, we already know. It's a gamble. Even if you do have the next Darrelle Revis, which is good luck finding that guy.
Generationally, right? That's a generational talent.
You ain't getting him at 19. You're not getting him at 19 typically. A lot would have to go right. And even still, a rookie's not going to impact this team now or maybe over the next couple seasons like Myles would. You've got guys like Mike and Chris. This offense is ready to win. We've been in the playoffs the last 2 years without really having too much to work with in regards to a pass rush, outside of Todd Bowles doing his best to manufacture it. And we've talked ad nauseum about this defense and what Todd can do when he's got a fucking pass rush. What any defensive coordinator can do when you got a guy like Myles Garrett. Man, does it ever make your life easier on the back end, with that front seven, with what you can do with your corners, actually have a joker, doing things and making quarterbacks' lives miserable. So it absolutely matters. And at first I was like, no, it's not going to happen. It's like playing fantasy football. Every Bucs fan, as soon as somebody, is getting cut or somebody says they want to get traded, everybody's like, oh, flying them. It becomes fucking Facebook all of a sudden. But I think there's a realistic chance.
You saw the uniform swap, and that's what swayed you.
Uniform swap just looked right. It's almost like I'd seen it before.
It looked that way. I did it, and I thought it was a photo. I looked at it. I was like, oh, I forgot that I had actually done the work. But no, listen. This is the thing, Stank. In last year's games, the ones that we lost. Okay, let's look at all of our losses. We were arguably one stop away from winning, I believe, every single one of those games.
Yep.
And as bad as the secondary was, if we had an edge rusher who, by the way, Myles Garrett shows up when it matters. Okay, he's there in the fourth quarter. He's getting after guys. He's creating plays. This is not a Gerald McCoy scenario where it's all talk. This guy creates splash plays. Okay, if we had a Myles Garrett, any one of those games, say the Washington game, okay, say the 49ers game, even say the Kansas City Chiefs game, okay, every one of those losses. If we have a Myles Garrett, we probably get off the field on defense. As bad as the linebackers were, as bad as the corners were, Atlanta Falcons game, if we have an edge rusher in those games, like that is right there enough to tell me we need that one guy. That one guy right there solves a lot of problems. And think about how far this team could have gone if we could have gotten 1, 2, 3 stops at some point in any one of those games. All of a sudden, we're talking about 12, 13 wins. We're talking about a different seed in the playoffs. We're talking about dominating in a playoff game. Like, this guy can take you, this guy can elevate your defense from what it is now to even more. And here's the other thing. Imagine how good Todd Bowles can actually call a defense when he's not constantly worried about how many guys he's got to send at one section of the defense or offense. Now he can actually do things on the back end. Now he can actually have bodies around that actually make sense as opposed to we got to send 7 motherfuckers to try to even get pressure. Fuck even getting a sack. Try to get pressure.
Sammer. Not
like,
just that.
What?
The numbers game goes even deeper. When an offensive unit doesn't have to hold the back in for protection, hold the tight end in for protection, and they're able to play that numbers game where all of a sudden, we are trying to bring pressure from one side and drop a defensive end in, and they slide their back out. They're not going to be able to slide their back out all the time. Slip them past us in coverage when that back's responsibility is to chip Myles Garrett, or that tight end's responsibility is to chip Myles Garrett. And oh, by the way, while you're worrying about Myles Garrett, holy shit, Kalijah Kancey, a real 3 technique pass rushing interior defensive tackle, is going to make life miserable on the inside. Oops, I forgot about Vita Vea. Holy shit, I forgot they had Kalijah Kancey, who's now maybe got some additional tools in his tool belt. It is a game changer. I'm sorry. It instantly transforms this defense. Into a big fucking problem. And all of a sudden you'll see, holy shit, our cornerbacks are playing a lot better, right? Did the Iceman not say, give all the credit to the pass rush? Monty Kiffin, that pass rush, those guys up front, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, that's what made me great. And every cornerback who's great needs a pass rusher to support him. And a good pass rusher like this doesn't come around very often and doesn't become available very often. So fuck yeah, bro. Why the fuck not? Why not?
To your point about Vita Vea and Kalijah, Vita and Kalijah have just kind of been taking turns demanding double teams.
Yeah.
You bring in Myles Garrett, I'm pretty sure you have to double him at that point. You got to start thinking about how to stop him. And if you think, hey, we got to still stop Vita, and you decide, all right, we're going to double team him, then now all of a sudden you got to keep in a back, or you got to keep in a tight end. Now all of a sudden you're playing with one hand behind your back as an offense. And you know what? They're good enough to still win even with that happening in terms of the defense, our guys with Kalijah Kancey. And Kalijah Kancey with a Vita Vea on one side and a Myles Garrett on the other side, this guy would hit 10 sacks because he's a legitimate pass rusher. He's not an interior defensive lineman like like what Vita even is. He's a legitimate pass rusher. That's his actual skill set, dude. Imagine that. And then on the back end, a corner plays much differently when he knows he can take a chance, because he knows that there's only a couple of seconds before the ball's got to come out, because his guys are always going to get on the quarterback. Iceman said it multiple times. He said, you play differently when you have a pass rush, because you know I can take this chance because the ball has to come out. And if I miss, oh, well, it's a sack. It's not coming out. That's a totally different mindset than now, man, I got to cover these guys for 8 seconds. I'm fucked. Right. Every corner is fucked if you got to cover 8 seconds.
Every corner has the advantage when it's a 3-second, 4-second clock.
Easy. You're jumping everything too.
Right. And then the above average corner becomes a great corner in that situation. And, we've got some guys back there that can play, and they've played with no pass rush. Just adding that dimension, it's worth the gamble. It's worth giving up the picks for. We've given up picks for a coach before. This ownership's not going to be afraid to say, Jason, do what it takes. This guy is worth it. They know he's 29 years old. It's not like we're trading for a 36-year-old guy to rent for 3 years. This guy could play for us through and maybe another contract and a half. He's a freak, bro. Like, look at how long Julius Peppers played. He's got that kind of body.
Just look at Khalil Mack.
Exactly.
Khalil Mack used to be the talk of the league, and he's still doing it, and he's over 30 years old. So that's not unprecedented territory. And this guy's better, bigger, stronger, healthier, hasn't had the major injuries, any of that kind of stuff, knock on wood. So, I mean, and here's the other thing. You got to trust that Jason Light will make a move this year, and that next year he'll go and get more picks somehow. He'll figure it out. And where has Jason and his staff excelled compared to most other front offices? From the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round on. Where did J-Mac come? Where did Bucky Irving come from? Where did Cody Mock come from? Where did Ali Marpet come from? Where did all these guys go? Zion fucking McCullum. I mean, the list goes on and on. And these guys all came in.
Grant Martin might have been our worst draft pick last year. Might have been the worst one we did last year.
He was a 1st-round pick.
He might be the worst one on the list, honestly. Okay.
Tyke Smith, another one. Like, I didn't even we haven't even touched on. We don't know. I think that Devin Culp might be a dude. Like, imagine where we got him. If it was like
you hear how Grizz talked about him today?
Yeah, guy gets it, man.
Hey, Grizz likes Devin Culp.
I mean, he's a weapon. So let's transition to that. That's a perfect little segue there. The Bucs announced that, kind of what we all thought would be the way to go. They're going to take that passing game coordinator / third down. I don't know what that position is called. Third down specialist. Josh Grizzard is now the offensive coordinator. Stank. I believe they took the assistant offensive line coach, made him the offensive line coach, and then they took the offensive line coach and promoted him to passing game coordinator and something else. So everyone's gotten a little bit of a promotion. Nobody's going with snaky Liam Cohen over there in Jacksonville, and the Bucs continue with the continuity of that side of the ball. Baker Mayfield gets to keep the majority of basically the same offense. But I don't know if you watched the press conference today, Stank.
I did.
Grizzard said, we're basically taking what we did last year as the foundation, and now we're going to level it up. We're taking it up to the next level. And he said a lot of fucking awesome shit. But I'm excited about this kid. And apparently everyone in the building loves him, thinks he's the next fucking big deal. He's a fucking Yale graduate. Dude is an absolute nerd. Okay, this guy was calling coverages and alerts down to Liam Cohen from the box. He was looking at it. This guy's got a Madden brain. Okay, he's looking at it from the top. He's drawing plays on clipboards. This dude is gonna be, in my opinion, I think we're gonna get better again at offensive coordinator, and maybe the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a head coach. We don't know yet.
Hey,
I'm excited.
Did you catch the underlying discussion in that press conference where it sounds like he's gonna be an in the box play caller?
He doesn't know yet. He said he doesn't know yet.
I know he doesn't know yet, but it sounds like he's leaning towards staying in the box, which would be interesting to not have that guy on the sideline.
I guarantee you, if Baker tells him I like my guy on the sideline, I guarantee you he'll be on the sideline. That's the Baker. That's how much Baker matters to this team in terms of his opinion.
Either way, you can tell he's a likable guy. Listen, bro, the Bucs hit it out of the park here. You forecasted this earlier. We've talked about this for the last 2 years, right? We talked about this once Dime Piece Dave got added to this team. He was going to be a problem. Way too good looking.
Way too good looking.
A complete fucking distraction. We would have probably won the Super Bowl that year had it not been for just that guy on the sideline all the time. Then you swing the pendulum the opposite direction, right? And you've got a sloth character, right? Eye up here, eye down there. Way too ugly. Also a distraction if you really look at him. Like it's almost
you literally can't look at him.
No, you ever seen like you be in Waffle House or something and the child is just staring down the ugly person? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it's like with Liam. Like you can't look away because it's like, ew, dude, that's a real fucking guy. Like poor thing. Bless his heart. Right.
Yeah.
And then you got an average Joe. Grizz. He's an average looking guy.
Right down the
middle.
He's
not good looking. He's not bad looking. Depending on the lighting, you never know what you're going to get with this guy. So I like it. I fucking love it, honestly.
You can stare at him without falling in love. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could stare at him and not want to fucking throw up. So it's right down the middle. Right. And I said the Bucs went one way too far, on both sides there. It's hard to hire a really ugly person because ugly people are used to just fighting for scraps. Okay.
Yeah.
Fighting for scraps with the other trolls. Going for those fish heads, they'll take whatever they can get. And once they get a chance to climb on out of there and, go explore what they think, rich people are like, they're going to fucking leave you. There's no loyalty for uglies. That's just how it is. All right. And I said, we got to go. We got to get a regular ass right down the middle.
Are you saying that Liam's wife's going to ask for half pretty soon?
She's already asked for half. I'm going to guarantee it. Okay. What I'm saying is Grizzard, this guy right down the middle, dude. I totally agree. Yep. All right, his eyes are level, which I think was something they went into this offensive coordinator search with. That was circled at the top of it. Let's get a guy with level eyes, okay? Hard to actually look at a dude and take him seriously long enough and actually listen to what he's saying when you're looking at your friend, he's got a pimple on his face, Stank. At some point, you just can't listen to him talk because you're just so focused on that fucking pimple, right? Got ugly people, same thing. Got a lazy eye. You don't know if he's looking at you. You want to laugh at him. You don't take him seriously enough. All those things went into that.
We live that on this podcast.
We have Izzy. It was impossible to put him on camera.
It really is. It's impossible. It's confusing. Right?
Yeah.
You're in the huddle, or you don't know.
It affects his performance.
Yeah, it definitely affects our performance. Look how good this show is, like smooth right now. Even though I can't talk today because I'm so excited and I'm drinking Celsius, I have too much caffeine in my blood. It's still a great show. And usually, when I see him, he's not on camera, but he's looking at me. It's hard, bro. It's like mesmerizing in a way. Yeah.
It's like when you walk by that weird looking creature at the carnival. You don't want to look, but you do want to look. You're like, that looks fucking gross.
Where is he today, by the way? Did you give him the day off?
Yeah, I gave him the day off. No, actually, he was busy. He had something going on.
Okay.
Something about an eye specialist or an eye doctor. I'm not quite sure if he's just saying that to me or not. But listen, since you did mention Izzy, I'm going to mention that you guys all should be hitting the like button and hit that subscribe button if you are new, and leave us a comment. Leave us a comment at what your trade scenario would be to acquire one Myles Garrett and add him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and bring us a third Super Bowl. Stank, let me bring up.
Hold on. Skip just texted me and said that the jacket that Grizzard was wearing as press conferences looks like he borrowed it from somebody. I agree.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He's that guy that shows up to the fancy steakhouse and he's like, I needed to wear a jacket, and then you just get that loaner jacket that you'd carry to the seat and take off. That was Grizz today.
Yeah, they have him in that closet up front by the hostess. Yeah.
Do they wash those things, you think? Or are you wearing every fat slob's
You're wearing
jacket?
everybody's sweat. Everybody. Yeah. Whoever's had the meat sweats in it before you, you're sharing it.
Yeah, because only sloppy, unkept guys don't bring the jacket, right? It's never a guy who's put together, who smells good, just bathed.
But listen, Grizzard, he looks like he actually like hits a treadmill every now and then, right? He's not floppy.
Average.
He's not sloppy looking. Yeah.
Yeah. He's average.
So you're like, you know what? I like this guy. He also, he played safety in college. So dude sees it from both sides. So that even, safeties are usually one of the smarter defensive players, believe it or not. We had a safety who went to an Ivy League school as well back here a long time ago.
Safeties are typically...
Or not an Ivy League school, sorry. Stanford.
You got to have a couple screws loose to play that position, by the way. You've never really seen a completely sane safety. Because...
I'm sure you're like me. You want your offensive coordinator to have had at least one or two concussions throughout their life, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
We know our head coach has, right? So the locker room's full of guys who've been in the trenches. And this guy's been there, which instantly gains him some respect.
Dave Canales never had an injury, never had a hangnail, probably. Right?
He just had a problem pulling his groin, evidently.
Yeah. So let's pull up Grizzard. For those of you who don't know who he is, in 2024, Grizzard was placed in charge of planning for third downs, and that meant his job was to actually scout the team that they were facing and also look at trends of what teams were doing on third down, specifically on third down and this, that, and the other, and how they played certain packages, how they played certain guys, how they played certain downs and distances. And that was really the majority of his job. And he set up the third down packages for Liam Cohen to call. And he also did some of that live from the box. And with him doing that, the Bucs led the league with a 50.9% third down conversion rate. And that was also a team franchise record. He also helped prepare the offense for the best ways to exploit the opposing defense and what they like to show. So he went into a lot of what Liam Cohen, I guess, would call his right-hand man, or giving him a lot of the the tools to be able to go into a game and call the plays that actually will work. And he promised today, or spoke today, that he would be building upon not just the concepts and the schemes, but taking them to a different level, and now taking what they've taught to that offense and to Baker and giving them even more power and expanding upon those things. Because it felt like, I guess, according to what he said, that what they were doing was still Liam Cohen's first level of the build, which is exciting because we were fucking good on offense last year.
Sim, are you saying that Grizz was Liam's ghostwriter?
Maybe.
Was he the one feeding Liam the ideas? Was he the idea guy? Was he the brains of the operation?
Listen, a lot of people, when McDaniel got the job with the Miami Dolphins, a lot of people were saying in league circles that guy has been with Shanahan and has been the reason Shanahan's offenses have been so good. And they're like, they're probably going to take a step back because of it. He goes down to Miami, who, by the way, this guy worked for him. Grizzard worked under McDaniel. So he's learned from him. He understands the creativity. Both crazy super nerds. Yep. And McDaniel's done a pretty damn good job in Miami on the offensive side of things. He's got a cool culture going on down there. And so he's got some of that. But yeah, he's basically what that guy, what McDaniel was to Shanahan was apparently what Grizzard has been for Liam. But that's a big part of it to me. Him being the guy that's building the package of the plays that are actually working.
Yep.
Okay. Now calling it is a different ball game, obviously. But we had, Dave Canales come in and learned on the job. I thought he did a pretty good job. Liam comes in, does an even better job first time. He's actually calling plays in the NFL. And then you got this guy who goes through it with not only Liam's first time, he also goes through it with Dave Canales' first time. And he also went through it with Mike McDaniel's first time calling plays at the offensive level in the NFL. So now he's seen it 3 times. He's already been thinking like an offensive coordinator for a few years. And now he gets his chance to do it I think he's ready, man. Everything he said, and apparently the people I've talked to behind, like these five, they think he's ready, and they are stoked about it. And here's the other one: Baker loves him, and Mike Evans loves him.
Everybody loves him. Everybody who's at the Pro Bowl loves him. He's a guy. He's one of the guys. So he's already been accepted. And, I'm sure Baker was given the push. Baker didn't want to learn a completely new system, completely new verbiage, all that stuff. It made a lot of sense. And we kind of had a little bit of inside information, that kind of led us in that direction as well. We pretty much thought that guy was going to be the choice unless somebody came in and just wowed them, which was going to be enough for them to completely change the system over again. So it all makes sense. So we do kind of have some continuity. I felt like things got a little bit stale towards the end of the season in regards to, it wasn't like we were just scheming guys open left and right.
The creativity took a little bit of a,
maybe a little bit. Yeah. Hard to say because, man, we were banged up. Losing Godwin and having the core of receivers behind those guys that you couldn't really necessarily count on. It was good to see, Jalen step up. That was huge. And he talked about that today, how that kid essentially was injured for a while and really just got some momentum and got some confidence. It was good to see because those were all new players, or he was a new player with Grizzard last year. So it's good that he's got that love and that respect in the locker room. So and we kept the majority of the coaches along with them. I think they're going to have to add a tight ends coach now. So it's the best case scenario ultimately, I think. And you got the leadership already. Baker's that guy, right? I can say all I want that Baker deserves a lot of the credit for the success of this offense. Definitely deserves some. And probably more than we know. He just got two straight offensive coordinators head coaching jobs. That's not a coincidence in my mind. Had a hell of a season last year. It's going to be hard to match those numbers. It would have been hard with Liam to match the production we had last year, but it's doable, especially with a healthy Chris Godwin. Jalen having a second year.
Graham Barton too.
The center. Hopefully can get out of his head. And not make critical mistakes at critical times. The offense is trending in the right direction. The defense is where we have to focus our resources on. And we've got a coach there, love him or hate him. He's proven that he can do well in this league. And by the way, can we stop with, offenses have figured his defense out? There's nothing new under the sun. Defensive football is the same as it's always been.
The same scheme the Detroit Lions run.
They run very different variations. It's all the same shit, different formations up front, moving guys around at different times.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Stank.
Different.
You're wrong, Stank.
Okay.
These Bucs fans want us to bring out cover 8. All right. They want us to bring out something called cover 33. All right. We need to change. So we need to start creating defenses. Playing cover 2, cover 4 quarters, what everyone else is doing is not good enough anymore, Stank. We need to start playing just new shit. All right. Yeah. How about we put tight ends out there to rush the passer? All right. Have we tried that? How about a wide receiver?
Corner.
How about a wide receiver playing corner? Okay. Yep. I bet you my wide receiver / corner is faster than your wide receiver. I mean, that's what I agree with you. But back to Grizzard. Cool thing about it, the guys in the locker room have actually been they've been dealing with him. He deals with them one-on-one. He's not this guy who's like lower end of the the offensive ladder that they don't really get to talk to or know. He's got a personality with them. He's got a rapport with these guys. It's almost like a next man up mentality. And they have not only do they like him, Stank, the players have this crazy respect for this guy. He's got some swag, apparently. Somebody in the chat said that he's the guy at the wedding who's constantly nudging his wife and asking when he can take off his tie. I agree.
For sure. Yeah, he's not a tie and jacket guy.
He had a tie on during the press conference, but then the video that the Bucs put up right after that, he was already down in just his dress shirt. No tie, dress shirt, no coat.
That's me, by the way.
Yeah, that is
formal clothing isn't for hot-bodied, thick men. Okay, it's just not. Sorry, it's not. And I should know a thing or two about that. Okay,
I should. The one time you were wearing a velvet coat.
I sweat my ass off. Sometimes you got to suffer for fashion. Stephen Beck taught us that. Stephen's not, as much of a part of this show as he used to be, only because of the baby oil scandal. I think he's kind of taken a back seat because it's frowned upon these days to talk about, how good baby oil can be, and we've had to put the brand on the shelf for a little while, reformulating. People didn't really, think it was, kosher that we had real bits of baby in it, but that's what made it special. That's what made it special.
I mean,
but
it's baby oil. It's called baby oil. What do you expect?
Yeah, bro. Where else are you gonna get it from?
Fish?
Where else are you gonna get it from? Right?
Fish oil. What is fish oil? What is fish oil made out of, Stank?
Fish. Okay. That's why I'm glad PC culture's dead. All right.
But what should baby oil be made out of?
Just like the bits of babies that are inside of our oil. All right. Anyways.
Why do you think the skulls of babies smell like baby oil?
Exactly.
It's where the baby oil comes from.
You ever smelled a baby that didn't smell like baby?
Thank you. That's what baby oil smells like. Babies, because it's made out of babies. I don't understand what the problem was.
Cali Bucks, my attorney said I cannot confirm nor deny.
I mean, listen, if you weren't invited to the Diddy parties, that means you're an ugly person, according to Dave Chappelle, right? So I can't confirm nor deny. I agree with that. Hey, before we head on out, make sure you guys hit the like button, okay? Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And you know what? For I think $2 a month, you get to be a member of this amazing broadcast. Okay, $2 a month. It's nothing. It's nothing. That's like, skipping. I don't know what costs $2 anymore. Probably nothing. But whatever.
Are you telling me that Loose Cannon's Leprechaun hasn't spent $2 to be a part? He is part of this, but he's not a member.
Not a member.
Oh, it's $2.99, Jonas.
Oh, I'm sorry. $2.99.
Jonas, why don't you buy 50 people right now? Just go there and gift 50 subscriptions. Okay.
Give 50.
And if you do that, we will rebrand the baby oil to beard oil potentially. Okay. Isn't that what you said? We should rebrand it. Maybe we'll do that.
Nirov says our gray beards are an ode to the Grizz, which in Middle English means gray.
Who's blonde, bro? What are we talking about?
No, mine.
We got blonde highlights coming out.
Gift your daddies some subs, J-Pan.
Oh.
Jonas. That's what he wrote. Oh, that's Girly Gamer Nerd. Wrote, gift your daddies some subs. I like that.
Be a sub daddy. All right.
Sub daddy.
Sometimes you just got to put your dick on the table and be a sub daddy. The funny thing about that is when they comment in the chat, you can be like, that's because of me. All right. I'm your sub daddy, bitch. And if they get out of pocket, you can take that sub back. You can listen. You can exactly. You can like enforce your masculinity.
Why can't you speak tonight?
I don't know. I'm excited. I have like a ball of energy in my chest. I'm really excited.
Grunts are coming out, but your mouth isn't moving fast enough for the grunts to make words. So it's just like
my nipples have been hard the entire episode. Is that weird?
No. I mean, I think if they weren't, I'd be concerned.
I'm known for my nipples. Everybody knows I'm known for my nipples, by the way. And
I've touched them. Extremely soft.
Jason Light touched my nipples. Joe Bucks fan. Joe Bucks, our friends over at Ducks
one Loose Cannons membership. Hell yeah.
You know what?
Appreciate that.
I don't care what anybody says about the Joes. I love the Joes. Never had a bad thing to say about them. Just like with brothers, sometimes you disagree, slap each other around, call each other names, right? But I don't have a problem with Joe Bucks fan. Do you, Sammer?
I mean, a cup of Joe. Who doesn't like a cup of Joe?
Right. My favorite salad, beet salad. So, hey.
Nah, I don't like beet salads.
Give Joe Bucks fans some love. Mudfish Matt, welcome to the Loose Cannon, sir. This is we got a train. Are we running a train right now? Sub train. Who's next? Who wants to be the next member? A family.
What's that movie that was about the human centipede? That was a train, right?
That was a different type of train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a different type of train. Human centipede.
Juice says, what do you get with the membership? You get 10% off anything on our merch site because you get a special discount code. You also get use of all the great emojis that have to do with blue cheese, ranch, and fuck.
There's a fuck stank on there too, isn't there?
There's also a fuck stank on there. There's also a Baker Mayfield emoji in there as well. And over this off season here, we're gonna start doing member only videos where you guys get to see the videos and the content we create before anybody else sees it. So that's
is there any nudity in those videos?
Might be some nudity in those videos. And
I like. Was it Dev got juice? Dev's like he reads the.
And yes, you also get Stank's feet. You also get Stank's feet pics.
No, feet pics are gonna cost you more than $2.99, bro.
Oh, okay,
that's a different tier. Really, you could just take pictures of my feet in the wild for free if you're smart.
If you're smart,
Jonas probably has an entire folder. pictures of my feet. Just ask him for them.
Listen, Stank, we avoided bringing Dave Canales on the show. All right. We avoided bringing Liam Cohen on the show for obvious reasons. I think it's time that we try to let's go get Grizz, get him on the show. Okay. And you know why I like him too, by the way? He goes by Grizz, which is also one of the characters on We Bear Bears, a show that my kids used to absolutely love. Very fucking, actually really, really funny show for kids, child's cartoons thing. You should watch it. It's got a little adult humor mixed in there. It's kind of hidden in for the parents that are watching. But yeah, Grizz is my favorite character on the show. So there you have it. Grizz, amazing cartoon character, and also going to be a pretty good offensive coordinator.
Sometimes you got to bring a guy in, that can match your intellect. Yale graduate, I didn't graduate from Hillsborough Community College nor Santa Fe Community College, but pretty much the same thing. We just got a super chat from Paul Carey. Okay. Paul Carey put his huge dick on the table. All right. We also got super chat.
First ever super chat on any stream, by the way.
First super chat. We also got a super chat by Cali Bucks, who said it's his birthday tomorrow. Cali Bucks, happy birthday, friend. He said, it's my birthday tomorrow, Stank. And the day that the Super Bowl was won on, still not as old as you. Thanks for your money, Cali Bucks. Paul Carey with the almost $20. Oh, another one. Rarely Even said, this would take our defense to the next level. This would be like JPP, but even bigger. Yeah, he's got more fingers than JPP.
Way bigger than JPP.
He said, yeah, exactly. Way bigger in every way. Who will we pick in the first round better than Myles Garrett?
Nobody.
Doesn't exist.
Not a single human being in the next 5 drafts will be better than Myles Garrett in the first round. I'm sorry. Just that's what it is. Okay.
Paul Carey said, I'm concerned because Grizz looked kind of sexy today.
No, bad lighting. And the Bucs ran some filters, okay?
They
ran some filters on the feed. They didn't want him to scare anybody. I met this guy face to face. Trust me. Paul, it's
a big day for him. Like when a woman's pregnant, even though she's swollen and she's got like a glow to him, this is a good day for him. He had a glow to him. I kind of got chubbed up watching the presser. I don't blame you, but normally, no, you wouldn't even, if you walked through the crowd, you wouldn't even know that he was there. Wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they must have had a makeup team for him or something, because he definitely looked way better than he usually looks, and that still says something, because he still looked like yeah.
He was like, hey, he's a beer goggles guy, right? You got 4 or 5 beers in you, maybe.
But he's one of those, they'll approach him and he'll be like, nah, I'd just rather stay here. I'd rather just drink this beer with my buddies. And then I don't know, Anyway, we should just change the name of this. Make sure you guys hit the like button and leave us your trade scenarios or packages in the comments. And
hey, Sammer, we haven't had like a show early in the week lately. You think maybe we will record one early next week?
Yeah, I think I have a little feeling that maybe we should have.
I just feel like early next week would be a good time.
Man. You know what else too, man? We haven't had a couple of guests this whole season. Really, we haven't really had many guests.
It's a guest-free season, bro. We lost Latte. He got hired on by the team. We had to hire, bring in interns and stuff like that. Been a weird season. All right. I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to what we're known for, which is shenanigans. And then occasionally just
a guy.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. Yeah.
You never know, right? Just make sure you like this show, that you subscribe to this show.
Hit the bell icon.
I can't
hit the bell icon.
I can't say it enough. I can't talk at all.
Can't stress it enough.
I can't stress it enough.
Hit the bell icon.
No, for real.
Tonight, right now, hit the bell icon. Because trust me, guys, you're going to want to hit the bell icon.
Yeah.
Because we may or may not have a show up our sleeves.
We could have a show up our sleeves. You never know. Rarely. Hold on. We got more super chats. So
hit. I'm telling you right now. Okay. Brown guy to majority whites out there, probably. Hit the bell icon. Okay. I'm telling you right now. Icon. Hit the bell icon. You do not want to miss what me may or may not be doing next week. That's all.
While we were talking, Mudfish Matt gifted a sub to Narav. Rarely
Navage.
another $5 super chat. He said, I would gladly trade our 1s, 2s for the next 2 years for Garrett. I'd be okay starting to draft on day 3 if we got him. Yeah, listen, you do what you got to do. Joe Bucs fan, he said, much more fun when you hate Joe Bucs. You know what? $5.39.
Weird, but okay,
yeah.
I'll take it.
But you know what? I think they were the first people, to embrace the hate. They were the bad guys from the beginning, and I feel like that's a good thing to do. Embrace that.
Rob says he's going by Navage moving forward. Dude, easily a Hall of Fame Sirius XM commercial, is it not? It's right up there with the guy who does the Zipa commercials. Yeah. Remember the Zipa commercial?
Yeah, I do.
But Navage is right up there. All right, thank you.
My camera died. My camera died.
Most excellent. Hey.
How does my camera die? It's plugged in.
I don't know. Great. We'll see you guys next week. This is terrible. This is a terrible show.
Hey, rarely again. Thanks for the $5. Our first next year, whatever, all that. Thank you for the
agreed
chat. I love you. I love your face.
We'll see you guys maybe next week. Hey, I'm gonna say it again. Hit the bell icon.
Hey, hit the fucking bell icon.
Hit
dummies.
the bell icon.
Hit it.
You don't want to miss what may or may not be happening.
You never know.
Week.
Exactly. Never know what you could miss if you don't hit the bell icon.
And also, all these super chats are gonna go in a fund that's gonna help Stank's camera. And
what the hell just happened?
It may have died forever. But we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Kickoff, set it off. Go to Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucs win. Whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start. Bucs come in 40 hard. Win